Hey guys, this is Scott the Gastric Tiger here, and I am here with a wrap-up of my Tough Mudder I did a couple weekends ago. I was originally just going to just talk very briefly about it in one of my normal weekly vids, but really after I got to thinking about it, I really decided that I really needed to do a full video just on this because it was such a big deal. So if you're looking for my weekly vid, I'm going to plan on posting another one later this week, just talking about what's going on in my life and weight loss stuff. But this week is just going to be, or this video is going to be just about the Tough Mudder. So I just want to let you know. So how this whole thing came to be, originally I was called out on a Fat Kings Friday by Fat Kings Phil. And we were all going to go down to Florida and do a Tough Mudder right outside of Tampa. And the Fat Kings and VSG Tanya and a couple other people. Ended up not happening because TJ had to have surgery. But I had already contacted a friend of mine and said, "Hey, you want to do a Tough Mudder with me?" And he said, "Well, of course." So this is the kind of friend he is. We found one in Missouri, and before we got signed up, it got to be a couple months out from the Tough Mudder, and I told him, "Hey, I really don't feel like I'm going to be ready for this. Maybe I want to pull out." And he said, "Well, I'm going to do it whether you do it or not." So, of course, I was like, "Well, I got to do it. I'm not going to let you do it by yourself." So, you know, he kind of necessarily forced me into it, but made me go ahead and do it. So he's, you know, that's the kind of friend Adam is, and really the whole day was a great time to be with him. He's been a friend of mine since kindergarten, and so really it was a day of friendship. It was a day of just showing what kind of a team he and I could be, and you know, I couldn't have done this without him. So huge shout out to my friend Adam. Just don't come by friends like that very often, and I really feel blessed to have him. So we got out there on Saturday morning and got up and had a great breakfast of sausage and eggs and hearty stuff to keep us going all day, and we took off and went out into the middle of nowhere to where this place was. It was about half hour or so outside of Columbia, and literally was out in a farmer's field out in the middle of nowhere. We kind of got lost on the way, and we were about a half hour late for our heat. But luckily we were able to just jump on with the next heat that was going out, and so that's what happened. We got there, we got checked in, got our bibs. This is my mud-covered bib from that day, and got our numbers marked on our face, and got ready to go. To even get to the start line, you have to climb over this big 6-foot wall, and really that in itself was really set the tone for the day, because a 6-foot wall looks a little daunting, and really that was not even the start of any of the obstacles. That was just the beginning. So I was able to climb over that, no problem. Just climb right up. No problem. Threw myself over. Then we got on the other side, and there was a guy who sort of did a pump-up speech, and right before we took off, you can see in my Tough Mudder vid, they started playing Eye of the Tiger. And that song has a special significance to me. I've never told this story before on any of my channels or any of my videos, but my morning of surgery, I was watching Rocky while I was getting prepped for surgery in my waiting room, and right as they were wheeling me out to go to the surgery room, Eye of the Tiger started playing. And it really it made me tear up as I was waiting to start my Tough Mudder, because it really made things come full circle. That a year ago, I had a hard time walking around the block more than once, and I had a hard time getting, out of chairs and tying my own shoes and doing simple things. And here I was standing at a start line with a bunch of runners about to do a crazy mud run. It was like my theme song. This started playing. It was really pretty amazing. Very emotional. And like I said, it was like things... It was meant to be. Things came full circle, and here I am, a year later, in a completely different place. So anyway, so we started the run, and the mud was thick. It was a sort of mud where you take a step and you slip, and then you take another step and your foot sinks in, and so you have to pull it out, and that was the way it was for all 11 miles. And it was cold too. The morning that we started, it was about 45 degrees, and the warmest it got all day was about 60 degrees. So we were really cold the whole time. First thing we did is we came to a creek, and we had to wade through a creek for probably about a half mile, walking along a creek bed. So you instantly got cold and you were wet, and then there was an obstacle where you had to walk or crawl along under a cargo net, and then the next thing really was the thing that was really blew my mind and blew my friend's mind. We got to the next obstacle was called the Warrior Carry, and you had to carry your friend, and for about 150 feet, and then they had to carry you for another 150 feet. Now, I started out with carrying because I really didn't think my friend could carry me. And that's just my mentality. And so I picked him up and carried him for 150 feet without a whole lot of problem. And as I was carrying him, I realized that he was the weight that I've lost. Almost exactly. So I got to feel what it would have been like to do that whole run, being that size. And there's no way I could have ever done it. I mean, absolutely no way. And then what really blew our mind and set the tone for the day is I didn't want him to do it because I thought I'd hurt him, but he insisted that I get on his back and he carry me. And he was able to carry me, which just completely blew both of our minds and just amazed us. He told me later on, he always said, if you told him a year ago that the Scotty was going to do a Tough Mudder with him, he said, I'm sure Scotty could do it, but we probably would have to take 2 or 3 days and probably camp, and I would have been like, yeah, probably. But we were able to do it in like 5 hours, and that's probably at least an hour of that was waiting on obstacles for other people to get through. So technically it was about 11 miles in thick mud, in 4 hours. So just pretty amazing. So anyway, the next obstacle that we came to was Everest, where we had to climb the big muddy half pipe, and you had a video of that on my other video, and that was pretty amazing. After that, I really kind of felt like I had superpowers. I mean, quite literally. I was able to do things that I never thought I could do. I was able to grab somebody's hand and pull myself right up. It was really kind of amazing. Sorry, I'm going to check my list of other events. This is going to be kind of a long video. After that, it was climbing over walls, 10-foot walls, and with just a little ledge in the middle. And Adam gave me a boost to where I was able to get a hold of the top and get 1 foot on that little ledge, and I was able to throw myself over. It was just pretty amazing. Couple of obstacles later was walk the plank, which you saw in that video. I was really looking forward to that one because it was a 20-foot drop down into a 15-foot pool. Of course, by now we've already run like 3 miles or so, and I was thinking, hey, this is going to be a really fun thing. Just jump off and do sort of like a cliff diving thing. The thing I didn't realize, I didn't think about, is it was only 50 degrees outside, and that water was maybe 55 or 60 degrees at the most. They pretty much filled it out of like a well. So you jump into that water, and it took everything I had not to suck in a huge lungful of water as I was trying to swim to the surface. And I was freezing. The rest of the day, I was pretty much cold. That was the way it was. Oh, let's see. Past that, there were a couple of other things, but mostly the rest of the day was all about just endurance and getting through it and trying not to freeze. By the time we reached the ice bath that we were going to jump into, we'd been cold for so long that really you jumped in and I didn't even hardly notice that it was ice water. So, we went for probably starting at about mile 9. I started having some pretty severe cramps in my thighs and my calves, and so we really couldn't run at all after that. The last couple miles were the hardest 2 miles of the whole thing because we were so tired and so exhausted. Some things I'll tell you about WLSers doing a Tough Mudder. Take your time at the water stations. Drink as much water as possible while you're there. I know that we don't have a whole lot of capacity for water, and it takes us a long time to get very much water in. And really, I should have spent more time at the earlier water stations. By the end of the day, I was thoroughly dehydrated, and I could feel it. Also, if you can at all, take a little bit of food with you. They don't really serve a whole lot of food along the way, and you really do need to replenish some of your stores. They had bananas at one station. They had half protein bars at another station. But really, if you can, take a protein bar or two along. It'll really help. The only other really thing that was kind of amazing, to me at least, was towards the end, I was cramping really bad, but we had to jump across these hay bales that were like 5 feet apart, and they were like these big round tall hay bales that were like 6 foot tall, so you had to crawl up on top to begin with, and then you had to jump from one hay bale to the other. I was really kind of scared of doing that. The first time across the first one, I almost chickened out and jumped back down and just said, no, I'll not do this one. But I was able to jump across that big distance. And the first one I was a little unsure of, and I landed a little crooked. The next time, though, and every time after that, I landed on my feet, and just like just like normal. That was kind of amazing to me. Lots of mud, lots of other mud obstacles that were just kind of fun, and being able to throw myself over big mud piles and climb like 5 or 6 foot hills of mud with no problem was pretty amazing. Really, the whole thing was an amazing experience. The last thing, the very last obstacle after you've run 11 miles and you're completely worn out, and you just don't really have a whole lot left, that's when they make you run through this tunnel that has these wires dangling down. And really, the way this one was set up, it was a giant mud pit with hay bales in the middle of it. You can see pictures of it in my video. And each of those wires can administer 10,000 volts. So, kind of the way they put it is, you move as quick as possible, try to get shocked as few times as possible, and it takes kind of a half second to a second for them to actually activate and to shock you. So I went into it full bore, dove over the first couple bales and into the mud pit, and was covered from head to toe in mud. I did get shocked a couple times. It did hurt, but not as bad as I thought it would. More like a really bad static shock. So if that's what you're scared of when you're doing a Tough Mudder, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. As long as you keep moving, as long as you don't slow down, you'll be alright. It does kind of seize up your muscles, though, so you're probably going to fall down. That's one of the things about it. But really, at that point, I was so tired, I was so exhausted, all I wanted to do was get through it so I could get done. And my friend and I went through pretty much the same time. He went right in front of me, I followed right behind him, and crawled out of the mud pit, and it was done. And at that point, we walked over the finish line together, hand in hand, and finished up. And so when you get done, they put one of these things on your head, and you go over and you get your T-shirt, and you are officially a Tough Mudder Legionnaire. So in this video, I am calling you out, Phil, calling you out, TJ, calling you out, Tanya. We got to do this again next summer, and I've led the way, and I expect you guys to follow along. And any of you other WSers out there, I would love to do one of these with you. We should all just plan on doing one sometime next summer, somewhere. It's a lot of fun. It's a great confidence builder. Really, like I said, throughout the day, I felt like I had superpowers. I learned things about myself that I didn't know, and learned what I'm capable of. And really, I'm capable of some really amazing things. Things I never knew and never thought I'd be able to do. I can do now, and do them with with surprising ease. So, you know, I don't know where to go from here. I say the Tough Mudder is one of the hardest events in the world. So at this point, just keep training for my next one, I guess. We'll see. Anyway, that was really my Tough Mudder experience. If you ever want to talk to me about it, just message me and we'll chat. Otherwise, if you were able to hang through with this really long video, I appreciate it. It was really an amazing day for me, and I think anybody who has a desire really should do it, because it was an amazing experience. So anyway, until my next weekly vid, which hopefully I will have one out this week. Just wanted to remind you guys to get out there and have the courage to be the new you this week. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.